to really commend you, man, because
Wait, let's start this from the beginning. All right, we're gonna come back from break
okay.
in 5, 4, 3, 2.
What's going on, everybody? This is Danny with Rivera, the Advocate, man, and I just want to give a big shout out to this man right here. Can you introduce yourself to the people, man? Because you were just like, it's an honor, honestly, to be up here talking to you, man.
Well, thank you. My name is Jacob Cable, and yeah, I'm just trying to get the word out on what occurred in my life and what's occurring in other people's lives throughout our country right now, and help drive some change in a positive direction and try to be a voice of reason, for the labor movement, and to, like I said, just kind of expose some of the stuff that's going on in this world right now. It's just stuff I've never seen before.
It's crazy because like years ago, certain morals, man, and certain respect, people used to give it to the people. Now it's just like they just throw it out like they don't have anything to do with anything.
Yeah.
And they blame the next person. And then what I like about you is your noble cause, is that you stood up for the man that nobody was standing up for. And that's why they were trying to say, why don't you tell the people a little bit about that story? Because you know what? That's something, honestly, I want everybody to hear and everybody to know. Because, you said, forget it. That's it. I'm done. I see these people getting messed up like that. This is against the Constitution. This is against all the laws that they helped us with. And then I still can't believe that, man. Like when I was like, are you serious? This man did what he was supposed to do as a union leader.
Thank you. Yes. I was a strong advocate for all the people, and I treated everyone equally. It was imperative in my role to have that type of character and integrity when you're representing 200 people. I was elected by 200 people 3 different times as a union steward. Then I was in 2018 contract negotiations, and then eventually elected chief union steward, which was the top position for our local area, LaPorte, Indiana. So to recap that story, though, the event that escalated, that was really significant with the January 6, 2021 insurrection. I was affected deeply by that. My life forever changed. And so was 200 union members, legal representation and union representation. So I was removed October 29th via anonymous concern. On October 23rd, let me go back, the union business agent was removed that was representing our location for around 10 years. So when that guy got pulled, the knee-jerk reaction of the employer was to plant this anonymous concern, in my opinion. I viewed it as it wasn't a coincidence that it was 6 days later, October 29th. I'm pulled, and I went through some testing. After the testing, I was terminated January 5th, untimely via text message. And
go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, less than 24 hours later, January 6th, we have a sealed warrant for criminal intimidation issued for my arrest. There was no conversation with the police. I didn't know I was even under investigation. The employer was working with the police. They've admitted that during arbitration hearing. There's recordings of it. They were working with the assistant chief of police, and put them on the payroll. And the day they're put on the payroll, there's a sealed warrant issued for the arrest of this elected chief union steward, who at the time had grievances pending for a covered up death threat against our first black steward that I had appointed, who had also been wrongfully terminated years prior. He had all kinds of flack, and the guy that threatened him was the same guy that had given me issues and had been a part of the harassment, discrimination, retaliation that was going on rampantly there. So very significant grievances to be filed. I had filed for the people involved to be removed. So had the other person. So you're calling for some upper management change, and that's a big deal. And it was coming from a chief steward. So when you do that, they moved way different.
Were they up to that point? Were they kind of like giving you signs that something was actually going to start happening? Like, I had instances where when we found out certain information in my life, because I went through the same exact thing as you as well. I actually have a disability. My disability was reading and writing, so I had always a speech impediment.
Okay.
And
Look at you now.
this is what I love. This is what I love when I read your thing up. I'm like, wow, that reminded me of certain things that I went through. Um,
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to say, did you started to see, because I started in my experience, I started to see people start shifting away from me before the incident started to occur. Did you have any signs showing that something is about to occur?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, 2018 contract negotiations, I was threatened, had my job threatened by a 700 member team lawyer, law firm out of Chicago. Very powerful guy, exploded on me. Am I allowed to cuss on air at all?
No.
Okay. But he said some profane things to me. And I was just going to quote what he had said, but he threatened my job in 2018. So it wasn't until 2020 that all this action was taken. And there was literally years of like a systemic issue with, I took FMLA leaves. I come back, there's convicted felons that are making rumors about me, commenting about my FMLA use. There's a sign hung above my work area that says mental instability unit. And I took the leave for anxiety and depression that was related to the job threats and being walked off the job by 2 plant managers. Well, I came in on off time to do my union role during those negotiations, requesting information for all 200 members. So to have that, like, to put that in perspective, when we fire people, we just have usually HR and that's it, or a supervisor. So to have 2 plant managers escort you off the property and tell you to leave when you're on your days off doing union work for the 200 people during a negotiation, you're already threatened then by this lawyer guy. That's going to rattle any employee. Like you said, I felt very much not if I'm going to be terminated, when am I going to be terminated at that point?
So you knew it was coming.
Yeah, I mean, I should have. I guess I just kept trying to believe people would change. I kept trying to do the right thing, speak the truth, stand up for what's right, and hope that their character would improve and that the retaliation and harassment, discrimination would go away. But it increased, obviously. When I appoint somebody and he's getting his life threatened and it's getting covered up by his own union, that's disgusting. The union's only job is to protect and uphold your contract and your legal rights. That's their only job.
Absolutely.
So what are you doing covering stuff up with the company? That's a big deal. And it doesn't just affect that man's working environment. He's a very big, strong guy. So if they're doing that to him, that's going to have a chilling effect on everybody.
Yeah, it's going to do a chain reaction. It's going to go all the way down. It's going to go from the top all the way down as a mudslide. People don't realize, man, a healthy work environment can change a lot. So one thing so now another question I wanted to ask you was, let's get to the whole thing where you found out that you had a warrant.
Yeah.
What was that kind of like? Like, you just went over there, like you went to your job and found out? Did they tell you, or were you at home and they just came to your house?
This was like a sneak attack. So what they did, when you look at it, they, by that forced removal, denied me my Weingarten rights. I spent all these years fighting for legal rights. So they deny me legal rights, violate privacy, terminate me untimely, which is just like you're a chief steward and they're just making a complete joke of your contract, your legal rights, your democracy, everything you spent tens of thousands of hours volunteering for and working your butt off for, in the end, just to get it all violated and attacked on top of it. So they provoke me, is my point. They fire me via text message in hopes that I would drive by. They'd have police hired out front. They had false reports called in of machine guns, bombs, and cocaine, jars of cocaine. I swear to God, all inaccurate. But nonetheless, people were calling this stuff in as a part of the MAGA movement type of thing going on. I live in Indiana. I'm a Democratic leader. It's January 6th. That's the temperature our country was in at the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So So you are a part of the Democrats in Indiana. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
I'm a strong
just
advocate
to
for
make sure everybody
democracy.
knows this is I'm a nonpartisan thing, so everyone better understand it that's been listening to us. But that's dope. So you're a Democratic leader in a Republican state, basically.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so basically it was kind of like you were appointed by were you appointed by somebody or did you have
No,
a contract?
I was elected by all 200 people to lead
Okay,
them.
okay, so because maybe you could just explain to people that process because then people will understand it. Like,
Yeah.
because out here, a lot of times, our elected officials, you have a senator, you have somebody that comes up, and they might appoint somebody to that position.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
That's it.
know,
So our way that this whole setup worked was we'd run a vote, and all 200 members have a voice, and it's a part of our democracy for them they have a protected legal right to have their elected leaders. It's supposed to be federally protected for them to have that right so that management cannot. I mean, who in management wouldn't want to take a leader and fire him?
yeah, that's
Because he's got a lot of power and control over what he does for the people and the effects of the working environment, the contract, the cost of insurance, the wages, all those things are impacted by leaders, and a strong leader can drive a lot of positive change for the people, but that doesn't necessarily always correlate with what management wants. A lot of times it's the opposite. They want to pay people less. They want to make more money. They're not wanting this Jake guy out there advocating for $30 an hour for the union workers working 12-hour swings and holidays and weekends. But in the end, what you're saying, they elected me, all 200 had a vote, and I'm their guy. I'm their leader, and I represent them. And then I appointed other stewards and to also represent them as well, train the other stewards. I was a part of every write-up, discipline, termination, discharge, all that stuff. My hands touched and was reviewed by, and I got a copy of, to make sure that the contract's being followed and upheld and enforced. And Americans have a ton of legal rights, but they're only as good as the people that are in charge of upholding them.
exactly the people that are sitting there and they're representing the other person to actually go see. What I like about you was, let me ask you a question, and this is not trying to get off topic, but is a lot of people, are you like one of the only Democrats that was appointed on there, or was there other Democrats as well?
Well, LaPorte, Indiana is by Chicago,
Okay. Oh,
and it's about 45 minutes away from Chicago and about 30 minutes from Gary. But we also have people that work from Knox. We have people that work in Valparaiso. We have people that work in the surrounding areas that are very Republican. So we have we used to have a great melting pot of culture and diversity, and I loved it. And I was able to put it all together because I think in part I love music and I love all types of music. And I think that just for some reason helps a lot with that. But the diversity is just so important that it's protected. When you have these types of death threats or things that go on and get covered up, all that goes and that culture gets scared. That culture is uncomfortable. That they don't feel celebrated or accepted or loved. They feel in danger, that they can't even get justice if their lives are threatened. I mean, that's ridiculous in America.
yeah, no, listen, you know what's funny though? You know why you made me think of that? Is because you kept bringing up that date. And that date really split everything apart.
Yeah.
So when you said that, that touched me because I'm like, oh wow. This man basically, because a lot of people don't realize after that date, a lot of friends who were friends and people that really understood each other, like really worked together, like you said, like the melting pot split up.
Yeah. There's
And
been a lot of division since. I've lost family members to this. The local mayor is tight with our employer, and with the police in this situation, the involvement was very significant. And it's hard to believe that these people moved the way that they moved. They hired police throughout all 5 Indiana locations, all 5. That's ridiculous, because all I had done was yell at a guy, don't call, don't text, don't message my wife. She's my wife. Stay away.
wait,
Nothing wrong with that.
one quick question. So basically, there was a guy that he basically took it to your family. Like he basically he texted your wife and stuff like. Is this like on the job situation thing? Like,
No, it was a guy that I'd hired. I had rental properties. I was also a landlord, and
oh, okay.
I'd hired him to do work for me. And while I'd hired him to do work for me, he took it upon himself to touch her unwantedly, message her unwantedly, things like that. And I just told her, I said, whenever I see him, I'm gonna holler at him. You know, I didn't call him. And it
Listen,
just so
you're a
happened.
man. Listen. At the end of the day, you're a man, and you know, I definitely understand that because all you're trying to do basically is to be like, bro, come on, what are you doing? Like, if you want to get to me, call me.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Yeah.
So definitely, I definitely understand that, man. I definitely understand that.
And the proper response, if I had no criminal background, isn't for police to call my mother-in-law and call the neighbor, and they got family involved in the police report and use that, and it's ripped the family apart because look how much it's impacted my life.
That's a
You know,
political attack, bro.
yeah, it was 100.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want to sound crazy, but you know what's sad, man? And I want everybody from both sides to hear this. Y'all got to stop the nonsense. Y'all got to stop the power trips. Y'all got to get back to where we were all as a country. You ain't
Yeah.
got to worry about y'all got to become human beings again.
Yeah.
This man has a family. Doesn't matter what side that he's in. Doesn't matter where, you know what I mean? Doesn't matter the views of political aspects, whatever you want to call it. I keep telling everybody, man, like we got to come together again as a country or we're going to fall, man. We're
Yes.
divided right now and it's sad.
Yeah. And we're too intelligent. We need to, it's the 21st century. It's 2024. We know better than this and how to treat people with just basic respect. You can agree to disagree. You can have strong, deep-rooted feelings or opinions, but the hate stuff has to go away.
Exactly.
Where it's seeking out to harm people physically or arrest them wrongfully, terminate them wrongfully, alter their life in permanent ways, so adverse that you got to create a whole new life. You know, you have to find a whole new way forward. And also struggle with PTSD is a very real thing that people deal with and something that occurred in my life after these attacks. And I'm open about it because it's important to be, you know, it affects people, retaliation, hate crimes, attacks. These things are unacceptable. And the proper response isn't when someone yells, stay away, don't call or text someone to hire police throughout 5 Indiana locations, call in false reports, terminate a guy untimely, try to provoke him so you hope he drives by disgruntled, and you go, oh my God, there's Jake, boom, 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 boom. He's gunned down, cops are heroes. None of his grievances that were pending have to be processed. I had charges with the National Labor Relations Board pending with myself and that other gentleman at the time.
Do you still have that pending?
No, this has been just a total nightmare with the power of these people in the reach, because I had a right to sue letter issued against the union, Teamsters Union, and the employer that was employing me at the time. And I spent 20 grand on lawyers. They undermined charges. They didn't confront the police retaliation. They didn't confront the covered up death threat. They were just looking at termination and the removal. And
so basically they went underneath everything and they were just like, let me get rid of this to keep him quiet and then keep everybody else happy on the other side.
Yeah. They were not confronting what actually occurred or happened. Everyone had been just,
I know. I've seen a lot of things and I just shake my head because it's like, wait a minute, aren't we all supposed to follow the law? You know what I mean? And then that happens, and then I don't know if you understand Suffolk County. Suffolk County, man, they took out the DA and they took out the cop commissioner out here.
Okay.
For like I'm not gonna get into that, but you know, incidents that happen, and they took out legislators out here. So
yeah.
When you speak a lot about it on that, I kind of like, you know, gets me to go, It happens everywhere because the cover-ups. And it's so annoying because it's like somebody's related to somebody, someone's related to somebody don't want this out, somebody don't want that out because this person's going to run next year, or this person right now is in this seat. You know, there's so much things that people need to start realizing that they have power of. And then I feel like the system and everything will change from that.
Yes, and that's what we're hoping to get going here, is to refresh everyone's minds, remind them that they're Americans, remind them that they have legal rights, remind them of how important those legal rights are, the differences that they make in your life, the impact that it has to allow you to demand a little bit of self-respect and dignity for yourself. And if something dark comes across you and hurts you, that you have a way of recourse and a way forward and a way to say, hey, I'm not going to tolerate that racism. I'm not going to tolerate you doing that and denying that man his legal rights. I see exactly what you're doing. I'm going to confront that, and I'm going to file a charge or whatever. And that right now, this stuff going off into violence and everything, it's just all that. It's just mindless. It doesn't accomplish anything. Use your brain, use your intellect. There's artificial intelligence. AI is out right now. It's great. It's very powerful. It's very helpful. If you have questions or concerns, you can run things through there, get excellent answers, and then talk to professionals and people in the industry, such as myself, that's went through these things, and that real life experience. Nothing can replace that. But the combination of all of it and us talking about it and encouraging people to use the tools, go to the National Labor Relations Board website, go to the EEOC website, spend a half hour reading through the different charges and complaints you can make and go, oh, wow, that's happened to me. That's happened to me. Oh, yeah. Like, you don't even realize how much of your life people are just trampling all over. And when you start to realize that and educate yourself on that, it's very powerful, and it really can change your life, the way that you see your country and interact with it.
See, I see basically I heard that you have an upcoming podcast coming.
Yeah.
Podcast. So
Yeah.
you know how cool that is, because isn't it cool now that we can actually voice our opinions and have everybody around us understand what's going on? Because a lot of time, like I remember back when we were younger, man, you couldn't do that. It had to be the news or it had to be a newspaper.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we can talk unfiltered, express ourselves. Yes, it is. It's amazing.
I want to know a little bit about your podcast, man, because you know what, that's amazing. I think that's great. I think, you know, people can actually get the information now that the action about with this whole thing with you. So why don't you let everybody know, you know, what your podcast, the name is, and all this stuff.
Yeah, so we're going to be launching the Jake Show, and on the Jake Show, we're going to be focusing on the Americans' struggles with democracy, our legal rights, the climate, and what's going on in our country right now, what happened recently that's affected all of us, and why it matters, why it's important. I'm also going to share my personal story as well, with more of an introduction to just say, hey, these are the different things I've been through, the people that elected me have been through and are being still put through. And I'm still working on confronting justice right now. So it's going to include all of my story that's still unfolding. I have charges in the Northern District Court of South Bend. It's a federal court that are pending against the union, the global employer, and the mayor, the local city police, the county police, the EAP.
Wait,
that they
weaponize. Right now doing the FBI is doing an investigation, basically?
Well, I had reported things, but I'm not allowed to discuss any details of that stuff.
My bad. You don't have to.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
You know what I'm saying?
The situation was bigger than me, is out of my control. I need authorities to help and step in, because very powerful entities were all bearing down on me, still are bearing down on me. I mean, think of a global employer coming at you. Think of them using their reach with the local politicians, the police force, the union, all working towards the same objective of getting this one guy just obliterated, just beyond even out of here, man. Like, ruin him, stop him into a hole, make an example of him throughout all 5 Indiana locations. So if anybody gets any ideas to start talking out, like Jake, I was speaking out about corruption and collusion, abuses of power and authority, harassment, discrimination, retaliation, unlawfully obtained contract negotiations, all kinds of things. And then they attacked severely. And like I said, that was sending the signal to all those other locations, like, Jake's your strong chief steward, and look what we did to him.
So
Does
basically,
anybody else have
what you
anything
do
to
is make
say?
you an example.
Yes.
Anybody that crosses that fine line against him,
Yep.
look what happened to that guy right there.
Yep.
Got nothing no more, right?
100%.
Keep quiet.
Yep. 100%. Wow. And that's what I mean. Like, this is cross threshold upon threshold. There's layers and layers. There's so many details I haven't went over today, just because this is just a quick overview, and I'm happy to come back on and talk more in depth with you if you have more detailed questions.
Love it.
Yeah,
definitely will love it. And I just wanted to give my, my viewers and everybody that's listening in, a little bit about your story and stuff, because when I read your story, and big shout out to my man Ryan too, from the Ryan Show. He brought it up. He came, I want you to take a look at this, and he showed me it, and I'm like, wow, man, because people don't realize neither the Disability Act.
Yeah.
And if you want right now, before we go, why don't you give them a little bit of brief about the Disability Act?
So the Disability Act, it just protects everybody who has anxiety, depression. Maybe they have issues, like you said, speech impediment, whatever. If it affects their work and their ability to do something, your employer is supposed to make a reasonable accommodations for you to help you be successful in life and lead a normal, healthy life. And that's a beautiful thing that America does. I mean, that's what makes America America. It's what makes America great, is that we make every individual count here. We don't leave anyone behind. And if anything, if someone struggles or has something that they need help with, we help them. We don't attack them. We don't target those things and say, hey, this guy has anxiety and depression, so let's use it as a catalyst to say he's crazy and doesn't know what he's talking about, and fire him and throw him in jail. So now he's crazy, a criminal, and terminated within like 40 days. Had no write-ups, no discipline, no warning, no conversation, denied due process, Weingarten rights. I mean, the Americans with Disability Act is so important, as so many Americans do have struggles with anxiety or depression, or have some type of limitation, or even sometimes it's temporary. You might go through something in life that's just a temporary thing. You lost your mom, your dad, and you're battling with depression for 3 or 4 months, take medicine, get feeling better, back on track. But if a company exploits that and terminates you while you're in that low point, how devastating is that to you?
How do you plan to help others that are being basically inside your same predicament?
I'm sure. Well, me trying to allow myself to be vulnerable and share these details that happened to me, as they are a bit embarrassing, emasculating at times, right? And every man likes to be strong and tough, but hey, I got attacked and they took me out hard, and I feel like sharing my story and my knowledge base that I gained in the 3 different union roles over 6 years. It is going to be very beneficial to all the people that suffer with, different disabilities, or involved in the labor movement, having issues with their union or their employer, or both, like I had in my situation. I'm sure I'm not alone in saying that there's many members that feel frustrated with the leadership as well in their union. And it's important to make sure that those guys are just out there with, like you said, being human, good heart, being ethical, realizing the importance of their job. There's those 2 different doorways you go through, man. Like I said, someone lost their mom's, depressed, and the company don't like them, and they take advantage. And like, hey, so union guy, we could throw him, fire him, get rid of him. Where does he go? What comes of his life? That person may very well end up now getting divorced. They may end up hurting themselves because they're so depressed and they feel worthless, they have no job. Versus the Americans with Disability Act in America says, hey, that guy went through something bad. He needs some help. We're going to give him a hand. We're going to help him stay here. We're going to let him know his job's going nowhere. You got 6 months, you got 3 months, you got whatever to get better, to get feeling whatever, and come back, and you still have your retirement, you still have your health care, you still have your job. Everybody here that's your family that you've known forever, they're all still here waiting for you, and they want you to get better. two different worlds we live in, and I'm going down that road that America is supposed to go down, that America is going down, that we're going to go down together. We can do it together no matter what politicians say. We, as the people, can do that through our own intellect. If we have that, develop this demeanor and understanding, then the sky's the limit to what we can do together and how much we can make a difference that isn't always financial in each other's lives. It's spiritual. It's
nice.
Yeah, it's what counts.
See, one thing I gotta say that I love about this, man, is that you really you like, nah, I'm not letting anybody go through the same exact abuse I had, and there's steps to avoid this. And I want y'all to know what I want to show you guys what to do. Because me as an advocate, the same way that you're an advocate, you understand the steps and you understand the process, and you already knew what they were doing right off the bat before anything.
Yeah.
You caught it.
Yeah.
You caught it right off the bat.
Yeah.
Right when it's like, okay, boom, boom, boom. Oh, okay, I know what they're trying to do right now. They're trying to sabotage me. Okay, cool. And then, but you know what's you know what drives you know what hurts a lot too, man, is when you know that you're going into a game right now that's rigged.
Yes, it is.
And everybody, right now is probably listening like, what do you mean it's no, it is. When you go into when you mess with certain people and certain people are connected to certain people, you don't got a shot.
Yeah.
It's better to weigh out your options and to figure out how you have to move.
Yeah, and I've been doing my best, but I still need a lawyer right now. I spent $20,000 to get to this point, and then I'm representing myself in Northern District Court alone, and they have like 10 different attorneys right now because I'm suing the local police, city police, mayor, the union, the employer, the lawyer for the employer, and the lawyer of the union as well, because he represented me in an arbitration case. Like I said, there's layers. I was terminated a second time with no write-ups, no discipline, denied my interactive process, all that stuff.
Can I give you real quick advice though?
Yeah.
Find somebody that's not from your state to represent you.
Yeah. Well, if anyone's listening and they know someone that's good, that is strong, that could help me, this is related to January 6, 2021 attack against a Democratic leader. I had no write-ups. I had volunteered thousands of hours of my time for 3 different positions, elected 3 times. I need help. I've helped others. I helped everyone, stuck my neck out against very real racism, which when it's real, it can get very ugly. And
yeah, we know.
Yep. And standing up in front of that and calling that person out is hard, calling out plant managers, CEOs. There's a new CEO there now. There's a new president of the union now after all this. And it's like people that slid on me, though. The guy that slid on me is president of the union, in my opinion. I view it as he didn't represent me properly at all. And then he got this big promotion. That's how I seen it. I know they do like elections and things like that, but the way that I seen this stuff happen.
You just seen backdoor deals.
Yeah, just like you said, things just being rigged. Like, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, you're very smart. You know what to do as an advocate, and you know what, you have a voice with your podcast.
Yes.
So always remember, your voice with your podcast is going to probably be more effective than you sitting there going out and try to talk somebody face to face.
Yes, and it's gonna, like you said, drive the changes and the help and the things that I am yearning to help. I want to help others not go through this type of stuff. I want them to understand why it's important they stand up for themselves. It affects your self-esteem. It'll affect all kinds of parts of your life. Stand up for yourself. Love yourself. You deserve it. Don't let some other person trample you or stomp on you. Surely not because of something that you can't even help, the color of your skin. So you should never treat anyone any different. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So we just got to speak up on it. We got to stand up. We got to come together, and just the more that we talk like this and you start to get that, the better everybody will be. And the other people they'll be quiet. They'll realize how ignorant they are with the hate. I don't understand the hate and the violence and the retaliation, attacking, tearing people's lives apart.
You got to remember too, man. It's our fault as the people because we put them inside that power.
Yeah.
So people that are listening that don't vote, go out and vote. And shout
Yes.
out to everybody that is a blank. If you're a blank, go to the side that you guys feel honestly can definitely help out and make a change.
Yeah. And
Because
I
the,
commend
go ahead.
I commend Mike Pence recently. He said
Okay.
for them to vote for anyone but Donald Trump. Is what his in a news article he just said that he does not recommend that the Christian people vote for him, because he's kind of cloaked in Christianity with Mike Pence when he was president, but his actions do not align with Christianity, and a lot of our laws actually do. Like it's like I said, just the laws protect you from going through some type of horrible thing and not having ability to seek justice without there being violence, right? So our democracy allows us to resolve things without violence. It allows us to be made whole financially, allows us to have our name cleared, things that are important. And what Trump was doing throughout his time and with the insurrection and things, that's destruction, that's carnage, that's hate, that's the unnecessary way of going about resolving those types of issues. You use, like you said, you go out, you vote for the people that you can empower to make a difference, that are intelligent, that make the strong arguments, that have a backbone, that present the evidence and make it happen.
Well, man, I just want to thank you so much, man, for coming on. You already know, man. And this is your boy, Danny Rivera, the advocate. And I will be back next week. Man, thank everybody, man, definitely for listening in. And you know what? You had a great, I'm going to be honest, a great story, man. And I definitely wish you luck, my brother, on that podcast.
Yeah.
That's going to help a lot of people.
Thank you. One last thing I wanted to say with what I was saying is that I feel like I'm not trying to cut down Trumpsters. Like I have a lot of friends and family that were loved him and thought he was great. I would just ask that maybe every person that has that Trump side also has a Mike Pence side that's a little bit more of a nicer person. Try to bring that part of yourself back to the surface and let that other part go down a little bit, a couple notches, that's all.
Basically, Jake, you're basically just trying to say, right, is you understand that people are gonna like Trump and you don't have no issue with Trump. You just want everything to be back on an even playing field because you're not saying that Trump is a bad guy, but some of the people that follow him and with the leadership will misconstrue things that he says and take it to another level.
They just, I think people got caught up in moments and did some things like the attack against my life. I'm sure that those people felt they were being patriotic. Obviously disagree with it, but I believe that those were the types of things that were going on. So I'm just trying to do my part, to realign that energy and bring us back together, and find common ground and agree to disagree on some things, but not let it divide us in such a way where, like I said, losing family and friends and jobs and jail. And
let me tell you something, Jake. I love this interview. I definitely do, man. We definitely got to do a part 2.
Yeah.
But I want everybody to know something. Jake Cable, man, you are definitely one of the strongest leaders I have seen in a long time because you're going and you're trying to fight a global, franchise. And you know what, man? I commend that, and I commend you for being honest and being up here and really going as hard as you can to get the word out, man.
Thank you.
And I wish we had more time to talk, but we're going to have a part 2, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have
Sounds great.
So I just wanted to say thank you so much for being on here, Jake Cable, man. Definitely much love. And you already know this is Danny Rivera, the advocate, and I'm going to be back next week. Let's go.
Thanks, Danny. I appreciate it. It's a pleasure seeing you too, man. We'll be back.